How's it going? This is Mitch with the Native Survival School. I've been asked to show a more intimate review of the Native Survival knife that just got released. So stay tuned. So the Native Survival knife is a blade that I designed with a couple key features, a lot of details. It's been worked and reworked and really a labor of love. It's actually quite warm today in the woods. It's like 40. Use the pine tree behind me as a coat rack. Thank you, sir. Okay. Got my blade in here. So first off, I'll show the sheath real quick. It comes with a hand-stitched, fully handcrafted leather sheath, vegetable tan sheath from JRE. Quality is just astounding. Excellent stitching. Does a great job. He always has. Belt loop in the back with a dangler. Dangler is also set up to be removed without being cut or destroyed as well, if you like it that way. Goes out of the way just for a single, normal belt carry. Ferro rod. This is the Native Survival ferro rod. Fits right on the sheath and stops at the top of the sheath. It's the same height. Really tight retention on the ferro rod. You can hear it's like tight. Here's a close-up of the knife. Four-inch blade, 3/32 thick, which is like almost 4 mils, in between 3 and 4 mils for you European guys. Speaking of European, it has a European style Coke bottle handle with the fishtail swoop and the slow decline to the front transition. The all-important transition on a knife. Comes with LT Wright's logo on it. He's the guy who hand makes these for me. There's my logo on the other side. So they're handmade in the USA using 01 high carbon tool steel, which is a traditional favorite in bushcraft, and it's my favorite personally. It has great edge retention. It's very strong to hold an edge, but it's soft enough to be sharpened like perfectly. '01 also I think it's better than 1095, or else I would have chosen 1095. I like 01 far better. 01 also just grows a patina, and it doesn't rust like 1095 does in my experience at all. It doesn't go crazy on rust, it just gets a nice patina. And also 01 throws amazing sparks off of rocks, like a flint and steel. Use a piece of flint, use a piece of chert, piece of dacite, piece of quartz, anything with a hardness over 6.5. And here's the steel, it'll throw sparks. Something I used to do a lot on my videos a long time ago. Handles natural micarta in this particular version of the knife. As time goes on, we're going to offer other handle compositions. Micarta has a nice textured finish to it, so it's not slippery when it gets bloody, and it's impervious to water, swelling, and all of that. Has Ranger Green liners, and this blade is designed to not just be comfortable in the forehand grip, but also in chest lever. So when I'm in chest lever, the pommel is long enough to reach just past my hand instead of digging into my hand. It's just past my hand, and it just locks in. Feels great on Scandinavian as well, which is like a reverse chest lever. Chest lever is blade out, Scandinavian is blade in. That's for carving towards yourself. You know, sloyd carving, spoons and cookses and things like that. Carving downhill. Okay, so that's the close-up specs. The overall design aesthetic of this knife was a puku design, Scandinavian design on the blade itself. Puku design. With a Coke bottle handle. It's not an easy combination to find. I like Coke bottles a lot. It's the most popular handle shape in bushcraft knives. Made famous, I believe, by Ramirez with his woodlore. I own one. A lot of people make these kinds of handles, their version of it. And I've owned quite a few over the years, and I've used quite a few over the years. Like Jack Lore's, Adventure Sworn, Adirondack Wilderness, just, you know, kind of like everybody makes these Coke bottle handles. I wanted a puku blade. His is not a puku at all. And I really like that narrow Scandinavian design. It's just excellent, in my opinion, for bushcraft. Excellent. And the bevel isn't very tall. I didn't design it really high up, because a tall bevel means that the thick part, the face part of the blade, isn't the majority of the blade, which is the strongest part of the blade. And once you get into the bevel, you have more surface area that you're sharpening because it's a taller bevel. It's more bevel to sharpen. It also can chip out and cause problems with Scandinavian bevels, because a longer bevel means it's thinner for a longer amount of time, and it can chip out, especially when you're carving through knots, knotty grain. You're curving through your cuts. You're drilling to make bow drill kits and to make pipes and whatever it is. You know, it can chip out from that. And so digging arrows out of trees, that's very common. So I designed a short bevel to give it strength. Now, if this was a very thick blade, because it's 3/32, right in between 3 and 4 mils, like 3.3 mils, something like that. If this was a very thick blade, I couldn't have a bevel this short because it would be coming from a thick stock and then right away having to get to a bevel, and it would be too steep. It'd be too steep, so it wouldn't have good slicing power. It'd be pushing the wood off, kind of like what's it called? Like the K-bar has. That's a terrible bevel. It's like absolute junk. What do they call that? You know, it's like the Scandinavian. Then you have the secondary bevel. I don't even know anymore. I actually can't stand that bevel. Anyway, so if I think of it, I'll say it. Somebody say it in the comments, please. But yeah, so anyways, it's too thick. So because the stock is thinner, well, okay, I'll back up. So if it's real thick stock, then to get to the proper 22 degrees, you have to start way back and really come a long way to get that nice thin slicing bevel. So it's not as steep. To bring it down to be thin enough, you have to start way back and cut really far in. And I don't have to do that because this is thin enough where I can have the best of both worlds. To me, this is like, I engineered this thing like you wouldn't believe. So it has a bevel that has a stock thin enough so it slices like a dream. So the bevel can be short enough to be strong, yet still retain the proper angle it has to be a nice thin slicing carving edge. I worked real hard on that. Another thing is that the ricasso, the plunge, where the plunge starts, right there, is very close to where the liners are. The tolerances at LT are fantastic. I made sure they had that right up to the line. It's very close. Very important. Because when it starts further back, now the closest I can carve, instead of here, is over here. Because my plunge line is so far out. That means I'm carving here, and that causes my blade like a seesaw, and it causes wrist fatigue. But if I can put the workpiece as close to my hand as possible, I have tremendous control of my bevel. All these things are absolutely key in a bushcraft knife. Also, the bevel horizon is unbelievably important. Where the bevel is in relation to where your first finger is. So right here, the lowest point where my first finger is, and where the bevel actually is in relation to that. See that? Mine has a positive bevel horizon of no more than a 1/16. That's the design. A positive bevel horizon of a 1/16. Very important, because if you have a blade and your bevel starts down here because it has a huge curve, and then the blade starts, very common in knives actually, where the bevel doesn't line up with your hand. It's actually way up here. When you're carving, like my mind, my brain, everything is with my hand, but I'm cutting down here, and it's like using an axe. You ever try using an axe to make feathers? The bevel is so far down that like it's wobbly. You can't control the edge as you're going down. And if you can move that bevel horizon close to your hand, it's money. And I chose, in my opinion, the best bevel horizon is 1/16 forward of the hand. So when I'm holding it, it's a hair's breadth in front of my hand, my ligaments, my understanding. It's just the closest possible right in front of my hand as I carve. I know where that bevel is all the time. So my workpiece that I'm carving is as close as possible to my hand, and it starts 1/16 past my hand. You want to talk about being locked in? Money right there. Again, really good on chest lever, because the piece can get so close and it lines up with my hand, if my bevel isn't out here, because that causes like a wobbly action trying to cut through. I want conciseness. I want perfection. It has to be perfect. I want my carving, you know, to be innate. I want it to be second nature, muscle memory. I can just carve for days and not even think about it. And so I had to design a knife that could do that. And also, when I'm in chest lever, like I said, with that being long enough to reach, it gives me more power, more purchase for longer amounts of time. I can power through sticks easier because it locks in, because it curves around my hand. I'll show you an angle of that. Right along the palm. Because of that, it's cushioned, it doesn't bruise my hand, and I can carve for hours. And it's so tight. There's no wiggle, there's no play, it's just strength. I carve a lot of spoons and cookses. I use them, I give them away as gifts, I sell them on my website. I carve bows. And I needed a knife that could do that for me. I've had a lot of knives in the past, and I just wanted a knife that did that closer to what I needed it to do. So powerful, man. Powerful. Nice clean cuts. Let's see, let's break this down a bit. I'll just sharpen this a little. See the strength of that bevel, how it's designed that way? It's sharp, but it's a strong design. And it's not strong, it's not sharp and weak. Thing just hogs off wood. It creates incredible facets. See the nice concise lines? Precision. Precision, man. Have nice slow control over chest lever if I want. Very strong. See the roll? So it feathers wood incredibly well. A lot of control in the bevel. As you can see. Also has the ability, because of its bevel design, being on a horizon that's so close, that it has great control, and so I can also really snug up and do some finer curls. Again, because of the bevel horizon being so tight to the hand, just in front of the hand, in the smallest, virtually the smallest increment possible, 1/16 of an inch, it allows a very delicate touch, and I can still have the control of knowing where my bevel is. Let's take some of these delicate curls. Putting the tips in the middle. Grab my NativeSurvival ferro rod. My blade also has a nice sharp 90-degree edge. Oops. Broke through the bark, didn't I? When I pushed down to plant my ferro rod. It's alright. Be okay. See? This little curls light easily. Make sure this is out. It is. Excellent. Nice 90-degree edge. Allows some good sparks to be thrown. You can see. Lava, man. Lava. Being full tang, it's very strong. You can obviously baton with it as well. It's a piece of oak. Oak. It's like the iron of the woods. Not to be confused with ironwood, of course. Little oak and pine file lay ready to go. I hope you've enjoyed this intimate look at the NativeSurvival knife. Again, 4-inch blade, 01 high carbon tool steel, Scandinavian edge, and a puku design with a Coke bottle handle. Ranger liners, Ranger green liners, natural micarta handle. It's available on our website, of course, at NativeSurvival.com. Comes with a leather sheath, handmade knife, handmade sheath. Both made in the USA. It's been Mitch with the Native Survival School. Appreciate your views, your comments, your support. Hit the like button, subscribe if you're not a subscriber, so you can get notifications of our new videos. Hope you enjoy the blade that I've designed for the world. This is for you guys. It's for me. It's for us all who love bushcraft. Take care.